Cooper's career was ended due to injury. Arch Manning's career is going to be ended due to being shitty. Or should I say Pitt, bitch? Y'all ain't doing nothing. Pitt's been irrelevant since Kenny Pickett left in 2021. Yeah! Well, you want to know what Clemson is? Not shit. I am over Colorado's shit. Over. One of the biggest things as a fan base that we always say, you don't lose to Vanderbilt. As they fucking should be, dead last, because you fucking suck and you're dog shit. Okay? Good.
In the fog, red light flash, hit me like a dog. Chrome Glock, tuck the heartbeat cut off. Try to take him down, bullets bounce right off. Can't die. He don't run, don't blink, don't stop. Never. Mask on tight when he crowd that block. Fall Saturdays turn to blood red shot. Gonna Glock 10 killer for the dogs. Step on the field, whole crowd get chill. Cold quarterback frame, but he built for kill. Slice. Helmet got cracks from the hits he thrill. Boom. But he always rise, supernatural will. Rise up. The boy stone cold, you can read his face. Defense shake when they feel that chase. No footprints, he erase his trace. He the type to hunt your whole fan base. He move like Myers, never in a rush. Hollows in his Glock, turn bones into mush. But he don't need that hands too clutch. One stiff arm, put a man through dust. Gonna stop then walk in silence in the fall. Hush. Red light flash, he appear like a dog. Chrome Glock, tuck the heartbeat cut off. Try to take him down, bullets bounce right off. Can't die. He don't run, don't blink, don't stop. No. Mask on tight when he proud that block. Fall Saturdays turn to blood red shots. Gonna Glock 10 killer for the dogs. Crowd start screaming when he step through smoke. D-line tremble, he's the bear they poke. Try to hunt him down, whole squad get broke. He don't win the Heisman, your reward's a joke. Helmet to helmet, that's a DOA. Glock stay tough, that's just his way. But the real fear come when he start to play. Cause he score TDs like bodies he slay. Nighttime kickoff, moon turn red. He don't need whistles when he paint that field. Chains drag heavy when he raise that head. Gonna Glock 10 legend of the deal. Crowd start screaming when he step through smoke. D-line tremble, he's the bear they poke. Try to hunt him down, whole squad get broke. He don't win the Heisman, your award's a joke. Can't kill him, can't stop him, can't outrun him. Dogs walk with him. Yeah, can't kill him, can't stop him, can't outrun him. God walk with him.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. We're back at it again with the 2026 college football record predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about the Georgia Bulldogs, the 2025-2026 SEC champions. Now, of course, we all know Georgia is a very, 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 very set-in-stone football program. Ever since Kirby Smart took over, they've been just a force to reckon with. 2016 was really the only quote-unquote bad year under Kirby Smart, but that was his first year. Ever since then, they've been borderline national championship caliber. And I don't see that changing in 2026. I'm going to be frank and just honest with you. There isn't really any headlines surrounding Georgia football. It's Georgia football. As long as Kirby Smart's there, they're going to do good. And it's just that damn simple. Gunnar Stockton returns. Georgia's losing players to the draft, and they're always losing players to the draft, but Kirby reloads just like Nick Saban did, and that's just as simply put as I can put it. So, and I haven't heard any more DUI cases, so nothing to talk about there. There's no headlines except NFL draft stuff in regards to Georgia. So, overall, I'm just going to put it simple there. We're going to recap their 2025 season, and then we'll get into the 2026 record prediction. So, last season, they kicked things off with Marshall, won that 45-7. It's Marshall, inferior, lower classification opponent. You expect Georgia to win that game. Then they played Austin Peay, won that 28-6. Same thing. You kind of expect them to win that. Then they had that thriller against Tennessee, and as a Tennessee fan, of course, that hurt a lot that we lost that game. Tennessee fans can sit there and blame Max Gilbert all they want, but Tennessee didn't have a defense worth a shit last year. That's the reason we lost to Georgia. If Tennessee would have had anything remotely close to 2023 and 2024 defensively, Georgia probably loses that game, and it's obvious. It should have never had to have come down to a kick. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, Georgia wins 44-41 over Tennessee last year in Knoxville. And this year, Tennessee and Georgia don't even play. And that's going to be very odd. But so they started 3-0. Then they lost to Alabama. That's a tradition at this rate. They lost to Alabama in Athens as a 24-21 affair. Then they beat Kentucky 35-14. That's a given. Then they went on the road at Jordan-Hare, handled business against Auburn 20-10. We talked about that yesterday against Ole Miss. They beat them 43-35. The Cocktail Party Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. Georgia, Florida, that's a big game every year. They beat them 24-20. Florida's getting ever so closer to beating Georgia for some reason, yet they still can't do it. And Florida fucking sucks. But they always give Georgia a run for their money usually, which is interesting. Because it's a big rivalry, I guess. But anyways, sorry about that. That was a notification if you heard that. Then they went on the road in Starksville, beat Mississippi State pretty hefty, 41-21. Then they hosted the Texas Longhorns, and that game was exactly what I thought it was going to be. I straight up said from the get-go that Georgia was probably going to beat the shit out of Texas. And what'd they do? They beat the shit out of Texas 35-10. Then they beat Charlotte 35-3, inferior lower classification opponent. Then they beat Georgia Tech in the Falcon Stadium because Georgia Tech is stupid and sold their home stadium rights to the Falcons for that game. I don't know why they would do that, but they did. And they lost 16-9. Then Georgia made it to the SEC championship game against Alabama, and they won. I think the biggest reason that they won is because, number one, anytime you play the same team twice, 9 times out of 10, it's hard to beat them both times. But number two, Georgia is cracked at the Falcon Stadium. They always win there. I mean, Bama's not bad there, but Georgia's used to that environment, and I think that's why they handled business against Bama. Beating them by 3 touchdowns. Then we talked about how Ole Miss got the get back against Georgia in the playoffs, and that would ultimately end their season in the quarterfinals at the Sugar Bowl. So that's kind of how that went for them. Let me pull up these stats for 2025, and we'll talk about that. So last year, Gunnar Stockton had 2,894 yards. Leading rusher with Nate Frazier, 947 yards. Leading receiver was Zachariah Branch with 811 yards. Their leading tackler was C.J. Allen with 88. And then interceptions leader was Ellis Robinson with 4. As a team, Georgia had 32.1 points per game, 449 total points, 57 touchdowns. 338 first downs, 149 of those were rushing, 154 of those were passing, 35 first downs by penalty. They were 80 for 182 on third down efficiency. They were 15 for 20 on fourth down efficiency. Net passing yards, they had 3,083, sorry. They had 580 rushing attempts, 2,550 rushing yards. Total offensive plays, they had 1,017 and 5,633 total yards, 402.4 per game. So Georgia was pretty good last year, to say the least. And now we look ahead to the 2026 season. And this is where things get a little interesting. Like I said, with Georgia, it's kind of easy to do their schedule right now because They have a standard of Georgia, win. And that's pretty much all they do. And that's why this video is going to be kind of short, sweet, and simple because, like I mentioned, there's not really many headlines surrounding Georgia unless it's DUIs. They always reload despite the talent that they lose, and they're going to be good again in 2026. It's just that damn simple. So let's go ahead and get into their 2026 record prediction. They start off September 5th against Tennessee State. Chalk that up as a win. September 12th, Western Kentucky, also chalked that up as a win because, I mean, really? I mean, Georgia's not going to lose to either one of those. So they quickly start 2-0. Then they go on the road to Fayetteville. Now, look, Georgia's winning against Arkansas. Puts them at 3-0. Fayetteville's a tough place to play. I acknowledge that. But they're going to have a new coaching staff this year against a very, very veteran Georgia staff. And do I need to say more? Arkansas has been in the toilet for years now, and they don't really have anything that I can see that would make me pick them. It could be a Fayetteville under the lights, packed house, and Georgia is still going to win. Georgia's winning. Then they host Oklahoma. Since it's at home, I'm going to be honest, I don't see Oklahoma winning. Georgia quickly starts off 4-0. Vanderbilt, they're beating Vanderbilt. I mean, this schedule is almost too easy for me to just sit here and just run through like this. I'm not saying Georgia has an easy schedule, but it's just common fucking sense. Georgia's beating Tennessee State. They're beating Western Kentucky. They're beating Arkansas. They're beating Oklahoma. And they're beating Vanderbilt. So that's a quick 5-0 start. Common sense, people. I like interesting shit, but this is just easy. 5-0. Boom, done. Then it gets a little interesting. At Alabama, loss. And you want me to tell you why that's a loss? Kirby Smart cannot beat Alabama in the regular season. And he's lucky if he can even beat them in the postseason. I think he only has 2 wins against Alabama. 2, maybe 3. But simply put, it wasn't a Nick Saban problem. Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem. That will continue in Tuscaloosa. Georgia falls to 5-1. Against Auburn, Georgia owns Auburn. Auburn has a new coaching staff. That's a win. 6-1. Florida, same situation. I don't give a shit how much of a rivalry it is. Florida has not beat Georgia since COVID. That's not changing. New year, new staff for Florida. Georgia's winning. They're 7-1. Then we have the Ole Miss game. I already talked about how I think that's a win. So 8-1. They're not losing to Missouri, South Carolina, or Georgia Tech. Georgia goes 11-1 in 2026. Simple. I'm sorry, that's a boring prediction, but let's be real here. That's the most likely option. If they were to lose a game, if I could consider them even losing another game, Ole Miss. That's it. I think at worst, Georgia's going 10-2. If they somehow lose another game, maybe by a weird-ass scenario, Oklahoma. But even then, no. Georgia is going to do good this year. They're going to be one of the best teams in the country, probably the best team in the SEC. I think Georgia is definitely going to be the favorite to win the SEC, unless it's Alabama or Texas or Ole Miss. But I think Georgia's got it this year. So, yeah, I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Georgia goes 11-1, coming off a 12-2 season. And, I mean, that's just simply put. So, that's pretty much all I can say. I don't really know what else to say. So, I'm just going to leave it at that. Georgia, last year, 12-2. They were your SEC champions. Got axed in the quarterfinals this year. I think they're going to go at least 11-1, 10-2, make the playoffs again, and maybe make it all the way. I'm not real sure. It's only March, but that's what I see for the Georgia Bulldogs. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this quick, simple, and easy video. I figured it was going to be since it's Georgia, but hey, sometimes that's just how it goes. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.